Hello, this is Miss Poor, and this is going to be a Unit 1 test review to help you be successful on your test. The first thing we're going to talk about is the mean, and this is when you add the values in the data set and divide by the number of values in the data set. And then your mode is the number that's repeated most. And just remember, there can be no mode, one mode, or multiple modes. Your median is the middle number. And if there isn't a middle number, then take the average of the two middle numbers. Now, if your data values, if you have an odd number of data values, your median is going to be that middle number. If you have an even number of data values, that's when you're going to take the two middle numbers, add them together, and divide by 2. And then we have your range, and that the range is the spread of data between the largest and the smallest data points. Okay, so here we have an example. We're going to find the mean, mode, median, and range of this data set. So the first thing you have to do is you may want to press pause and work through this yourself, and then come back and unpause and see if you've got the right answers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the data set from the least value to the greatest value. So when I rewrite it, this is what it looks like. And so to find the mean, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to show you how I did it with my calculator. You can see here that I just added all the data sets together and I got 210, and I have 10 values in this data set. So I divided by 10 and I got my mean of 21. For my mode, you're going to look at the number that occurs most frequently. And in this situation, we've got 11. So that's going to be our mode. For your median, now in this data set, we have 10 values. So what we're going to do is take those two middle numbers, we're going to add them together and divide by 2. And when you do that, you get that your median is 17. And for the range, you're just going to take the highest value, which is 45, and subtract the lowest value, and you're going to get 34. All right, next, we're going to look at measures of center 2. This is a survey asked a group of people the size of their household, and the results are shown in the frequency distribution. All right. Now, remember that when you go through and you're doing this frequency distribution, the first thing that you're going to have to do is go through and extend your table. And here again, you might want to press pause, work this yourself, and then come back to see if you got the correct answers. So I'm going to extend the table, and what we're going to do is we're going to take F times X. And it's not here on this, but the household size is going to be your X value. So all I did was I multiplied 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 4 is 8, and so on, and got all those. After you've done that, then you're going to get the totals for your frequencies. So I add together 3, 4, 6, 7, and 5, and I get 25. And then I add together my F times X values, 3 plus 8 plus 18 plus 28 plus 25, and I get 82. So your next step here is to take that 82 and divide it by 25. And this is what it looks like when I did it in the calculator. See here at the first one was where I added up the frequencies, and then my F times X, I added those up and I got 82. And so then I told my calculator to take 82 and divide it by 25. So 3.28 is going to be your answer. And you can see that that is going to be D. Well, let's get rid of that fill. There we go. So now it's D. All right, let's go to the next slide. This one says Kelly is playing a computer game to help her learn about science. Her scores for the first 6 games were 10, 12, 10, 8, 14, and 15. How many points does she need to earn on the next game so that her average score for all games is 12 points? So what you're going to do is you've already been given the mean right here. There's your mean. Let me go back here. Let's underline that. That's my mean. And then up here are the first 6 games. So what I'm going to have to do next is add those together with an X. So here, I'm going to have to write this one out. I thought I had it. So on this one, we're going to say 12, which is the mean, equals 10 plus 12 plus 10 plus 8 plus 14 plus 15 plus, we want to find out what number of points she needs to earn on that 7th game. And then you're going to take all this, and since there's 7 values here, you're going to divide that by 7. So your next step is to get that 7 out of the denominator. So you're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 7. And let me see here. Like I said, I thought I already had this one worked out, and I didn't, but that's okay. We can do this. So 12 times 7 is going to give me 84. And then I'm going to add up those other values. So I've got 10 plus 12 plus 10 plus 8 plus 14 plus 15. That's going to give me 69 plus x. And now all you have to do is subtract 69 from both sides. And you're going to get 15 equals x. So she is going to have to score 15 on that next quiz. And here, let's look at this. And I went ahead and wrote that out so you could see how the whole process works, but I also want to show you how you can do it in your calculator. There you go. You see where I added up all the numbers and got 69. Then I multiplied 12 by 7 because I'm getting that 7 out of the denominator, and I got 84. So then I just told my calculator to take 84 and subtract 69, and I got 15. Okay, now statistical graphs. An 2010 estimate of Australia's population is 21,515,754, which is the best estimate of the number of Australians with type AB blood in 2010. And you know what? I put the wrong calculator up here. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. Maybe not. Okay, go ahead and see if you can pause and calculate this yourself. And I apologize, in my example, I figured it out for type A. So what you're going to do is I'm going to put my screen up here for just a second and type all this in. You're going to take 21,515. I guess I ought to turn my calculator on. 21,515,754. And we want to know the AB blood type. So if you look at the graph, the percentage of AB blood types is 3%. And you've got to convert that to a decimal. And so this is what your answer is going to be. See how I typed in the total population times 3%. And so our answer is going to be A. So let me go back here. And I'm just going to draw it on here. Well, it's not going to let me. But A is your answer. And let me change that fill to none. There we go. All right, now then, just so you can see, I had accidentally calculated, instead of the AB blood type, I had calculated it for the type A. And if you did it for type A, this is what you would have calculated. So just an FYI there. All right, now let's look at this. This is a stem and leaf plot. Shows the test scores for a chemistry class. How many students had a score less than 82? So it doesn't include 82, but everything less than 82. So just go ahead and push pause and see if you can get the answer. All right, now let's look and see. I'm going to I'm going to insert some boxes here to kind of show you what we're looking at. It said below 82, so we're not going to include anybody who scored an 82. And let me put one more box in here to help you see this. They made less than 82 points. So what we're going to do is, what I've put the box around, you're going to go through and count the number of data values. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our answer here is going to be C. And you know what? I can just do it this way, so that way. All right, so now we have measures of spread 2. And you've got to know how to do the 5-number summary for a data set. If you look right here, now this is a question on your part 2 test. And you have to go through and explain how you got each of the values. That's part of it. If you don't go through and give the explanation, then you won't get full credit on the part 2 test. But your first step is the showing your work. And what I did here was right here, I just put the numbers in numerical order from least to greatest. And when you do that, it's pretty easy to find what your minimum is, because it's going to be your lowest number, which is 68. Your max number is easy to find too, because it's 845. Since this data set has 11 values, then the middle number is going to be our median. And for finding your quartile, you're going to put parentheses around the numbers prior to the median and parentheses around the numbers after the median. And then to find your first quartile, you're going to look for that middle number. Again, if there's an even set of numbers in the parentheses, you're going to take the two middle numbers, add them together, and divide by 2. And that's the same for quartile 3. So my quartile 1 is 160, my quartile 3 is 740, and so let me see if I can do copy paste here. Yes, I can. So in this situation, I'm making sure I'm correct here. Again, our answer is going to be C. Now then, on the test, like I said, you're going to have to go through and explain. Like I just explained to you how I calculated all this. I didn't type it out, but I showed you you had to rewrite the numbers, find your minimum, find your max, find your median, and you're going to have to explain how you located each of those for your test. Now, you can also put this in your calculator, but remember, you're still going to have to explain it. And you can go in and enter in all this information in list 1 under the stat key, edit, enter all this information, and then you go back and you calculate with one variable, and you scroll down, and you can see after I entered all that, you can scroll down on your screen after you do the calculation, and you can see that everything we picked out was correct. So at least if you have to go through and do all the work, show your work, and do your explanations, you can always double check yourself with the calculator and make sure you did it correctly. All right, on this one, and this is the same data set we just worked with, okay? So you can go back to the previous slide and you can see how you went from least to greatest to find that inner quartile. Now remember, your inner quartile is going to be your quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So if I go back to my previous slide, I see that quartile 3 is 740, quartile 1 is 160. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract those two. Oh, and I just put this back up here again so you could see that quartile 1 was 160, quartile 3 was 740. So in my calculator, I just take 740 minus 160, and I see that my interquartile range is 580. And that's the end of this review. And if you have any questions, just please email me. You can Skype me. Any of those methods, and I'll be glad to help you with any of this before you try to take the test. And thank you for listening.